Hello, welcome to the live stream. Today we're going over stretching for your shoulders. So if you're welcome, I'm Greg, if we haven't met before, and today what we're going to be going over is 4 stretches for your shoulders, as well as we're going to be doing one bonus using a foam roller to help the area right between your shoulder blades, take some of the pressure off that area and loosen any tension you might have in that area. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and hit a thumbs up to let me know you like that sort of content. But we're gonna get right into it with a trap stretch, which runs across the top of your shoulder. So what you're gonna do is grab onto your pant leg with one hand, okay? And then you're going to tip your opposite ear to your shoulder, feeling the stretch along the top of your shoulder. Go ahead and do that now with me. So this muscle runs all the way from the base of your neck down to the top of your shoulder and then down into the middle of your back. So you should feel a stretch across the whole top of your shoulder. We're stretching actually multiple muscles as we do this, stretching the levator, the traps, some of the scalenes. You have a whole set of muscles in here that all act to pull up on that shoulder girdle. So what can happen is a lot of people hold their stress in their shoulders and these tighten up and shorten. So we're just lengthening those back out. And then same thing on the other side, grabbing onto that pant leg and then tipping over to the other side, keeping that head pointed straight, tipping your ear down to your opposite shoulder. Now with this one, this muscle tends to get overworked because it takes the job of other muscles sometimes where it's pulling up and creating that stability for the shoulder. And because of that, it can get used to being in a shortened position. So we're just lengthening that back out, letting that muscle relax and release into a full lengthened position. It actually pulls your entire shoulder upwards. So it supports a lot of weight. It's a very big, useful muscle, but we want to make sure that it stays able to move all the way through so we're not creating tension at the neck. And relax. So we just stretched the traps. Now we're going to actually move into the pecs, which run across the front of the shoulder here. So for this, you're going to need a door frame. So what you're going to do is going to grab onto the door frame up above your head level so your elbow is right at shoulder height. Then from here, you're going to turn the opposite way till you feel a stretch across your chest. This one goes all the way from your breastplate bone into the inner arm right in here. So it goes right across that front of that shoulder. So this one, people can actually have shoulder pain or sometimes even things like carpal tunnel syndrome or can be affected by this muscle in here. It pulls and cuts off that nerve up here if it's too tight. So we want to make sure this stays loose, not to scare anyone or say you're at risk of that necessarily, but it can be a factor. And so you want to make sure that this stays loose. We do so much forward and down, like holding phones, driving, things like that, working at a computer, that these muscles can actually shorten. So we want to make sure we're actually lengthening these muscles by stretching them. And same thing on the other side. So grabbing where your elbow is in line with your shoulder and then turning out and away, feeling a stretch across your chest. This should feel good. These muscles are tight. It can actually impede your breathing a little bit too because it doesn't let that rib cage fully expand and contract because the pecs, one of the pec muscles actually attaches into that rib cage down in here. So if you feel a little bit of tightness right in here, might be your pec. You have a pec major and a pec minor, and they both pull in and sort of downwards. So opening that up, you might feel a little more close to your shoulder where it's your pec minor, or more across the front of the shoulder where it's the pec major. And go ahead and relax, bring that arm down. So now we're going to stretch the lats, which run along the back of your shoulder. So these actually attach up into the arm. So So what we're gonna do, you're gonna put your elbow against the door frame, and then with the same foot, you're gonna step behind, letting your hips drop towards the door, feeling a stretch along the back of your shoulder, okay? So this muscle, it does two things. It is an internal rotator and an adductor. And what that means is it pulls this way internally and pulls in towards your body. So we're opening it up by going the opposite way. A lot of people stop doing things overhead, like hanging, climbing trees, things like that. So these can get tight, and they can actually even lead to low back pain because they go all the way down to your low back. They go from your shoulder to your back. So it's a good idea to stretch these out. And then same thing on the other side, putting your elbow on the door frame, stepping behind, and then pushing your hips in towards the door. It's a very large muscle and runs along a large portion of your back. It's actually, one time I was doing squats, I was having low back pain. I stretched this muscle out and I felt it all the way down. I felt a pop down in my low back, and the back pain went away. It can in fact all the way down to there. It's pretty amazing. And relax. All right, so if those felt a little easier, this next one might be actually more difficult. We're gonna be stretching the muscles in the back of your shoulder and between your shoulder blades. So we're gonna do a camel stretch. So for this, we're gonna go to the floor. So what you're gonna do is put your hands right underneath your shoulders, and you're going to push your rib cage up and your chin down, pushing your shoulders out like you're trying to push your spine up through your back, between your shoulder blades, okay? So you should feel a stretch in the back of your shoulders as you push up. We're stretching the rhomboids, which are right between your shoulder blades, some of that middle trap, which is between your shoulder blades as well, and then your teres minor and infraspinatus in the back of the shoulder back in here. Got that rotator cuff that we're actually stretching out as we do this. Holding this stretch, trying to push up through. You might feel like you can push a little higher as you go forward. That's fine. If trying to push that spine up towards the back, trying to push down into the ground with your arms, with your elbows straight. Commonly, this one or the other two we just did, if you can be tight in either of those areas, especially if you have shoulder pain or discomfort. Usually it's one of those two areas that's a problem, or it's a good place to start anyway. So now we're going to use a foam roller. So for this one, you're going to lay down where the foam roller is all the way along your spine. So you want your hips and head supported. And then from here, knees bent. Okay, important thing, don't have your legs out straight. Knees bent, keeps your spine in a good neutral position. Then you're gonna bring your arms out to the side. So straight out from your shoulder, opening up that chest. You should feel your shoulder blades pushing into the foam roller as you're doing this. And just hold this position here. So what can happen is, as we go through the day, gravity is constantly pushing down on your body, and that tends to be down and forward because of the curvature of your spine. So in your upper shoulders, it actually can overcurve your spine, or it will make a kyphosis of your spine potentially. And so we're actually pushing backwards on that curve to reintroduce a healthy curve or to reintroduce a proper curve in the spine. So what can happen is, if that curve stays, your body will put down layers of tissue and fat to actually protect itself, and you can get a hunchback, and we don't want hunchbacks. We want to be straight all the way through our spine. We have a nice neutral spine where your ears are in line with your shoulders. So that's something that this foam roller helps with as well, is it lines up your ears and shoulders, because you see the back of my head is touching the foam roller as well as right between my shoulder blades. If you're feeling numbness in your hands, just go ahead and bend your elbows. You don't want to put too much pressure. That means there might be a little pressure on the nerve. We want to alleviate that. So to get off the foam roller, what you're going to do is put your hands together and then roll to the side. So you don't want to go forward, you want to roll to the side and come up. All right, so that was our 5 exercises. We had 4 stretches plus a foam roller. If you like this sort of content, then go ahead and hit subscribe. We do these live streams showing how to do some exercises or some stretching, anything related to health and fitness. So if you like that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope to see you guys next time. Take care.